This is my week 6 sprint and my evaluation for my indie project, FreezeBurn. So, overall, I've finished a product here, a game that works and can be played through to completion. So we'll start at the beginning and just walk and talk through it. So, starting at the beginning, got a basic title screen because I wanted to put more effort into the gameplay and the inside the game than the title screen, but obviously this doesn't show off a massive impression on first glance. However, loading in to stage 1 here, we have our game. The game mechanic here is it's mainly a rage game. When you die, it's just a simple quick, oh, you died, press R to respawn. But, as it says there, you can press E to place a flag. That way then, when you die and respawn inevitably, you respawn at the flag. You can also, however, holding Q, remove the flag. And you can also do this as part of having died. Just in case you get soft-locked. So going through here, got moving platforms, we've got lava that will immediately kill you, and we've got icicles. You only have a certain amount of flags per stage, and the death tracker keeps track of how many deaths you have, just in case. Close. I'm going to make a sprint here and make it through. Yeah, there we go. And when you reach the flag at the end of the stage, it says to press escape to return to the title screen. So that one's a more simplistic stage. It's not really supposed to challenge the player. It's supposed to just be an introduction to the flag mechanics. This is supposed to be the challenging stage. One small thing about the respawn stuff is if I just respawn 99 times at all, which is just going to take me a second. Actually, I'll come back when I'm close to the end. As I'm nearing up here on 99 respawns, once you get to 99, the next respawn will put a plus at the end of it, just to minimize having to worry about the score overflowing, because that would require the whole UI having to move every time, and obviously that could become a bit of a handle. So here we go. Whoops. I actually did fall for my own trap there. Oh, oh that's annoying. I'm actually falling for everything. Okay, that's embarrassing. I'm going to restart. There we go. I didn't lose it all. And then I forgot about that. Every time. Every time I've tested this level, I've done that. Now, the overall issues with developing this game, the main worries I had, were making this game visually appealing and also having the respawn mechanic work 100% of the time. It's a very interesting visual appeal, I feel. It's not really anything too special. It's basic pixel art. Logic was to use 64x64. Oh, sorry, not 64x64. 8x8, making a 64-bit style. However, I reused a model from one of my older projects as the main character here, with animations that I already had ready for him to go. I just changed his colours up a little bit because his old colours were very boring and bland. I wanted him to pop a little bit against the background. And the background is using the same colours as the foreground here, just darker a little bit. Ahead we have just one of the new mechanic, well, the only new mechanic for the stage, which is just that if you pick this up over here, you gain another flag. So, as this platform comes down and land on that, I remember that one. That one I always have to remember because it still gets me, even though I've put it there. As we get to the top here, let's get on this platform. This is the last bit. I call this the gauntlet because you have to avoid the icicles as you slowly ride across here. I had initial plans to add more hazards. I just didn't end up getting around to that because of the bugs and the issues that the respawn mechanic was giving me alongside the camera. Because the camera is a little bit weird, but as you get to the end here, press escape, and the quit button works as well. So, as we quit here, here's the Trello board for everything that I managed to actually put into the game. Coming up to the end of the game, I managed to implement sound effects, background tile set, and a respawn tracker. Honestly, the respawn tracker was finalized in the long run. I managed to finalize my sound effects as well. I'm quite happy, actually, with how they came out. And the background tile set probably needed some polishing, so I would have left it there. As for the stages, I think that level 2 is honestly really good, and I think that the level design has been tweaked to a point where it works, and the menu works. And it looks okay, but it's not really finished, honestly. Actually, I'll put it over here. Alongside that, I would say that level 1 might need some redoing. It's pretty easy. It is maybe too easy. But as for the actual development process of the game, uh, yeah, I think my game was honestly it was hard. It was hard, FreezeBurn. I ended up going into it with a quite small scope. I know I didn't manage to include everything, but that's mainly because of the issues that the mechanic of respawning gave me. It took quite a while for me to figure out how to actually get it working in a solid state. I had to ask my friends for quite a bit of help as well with getting it right. Um, as for adding mechanics. This doesn't matter to me, the story and premise, because I find that I've found from this project, and something that I realize that I will be focusing on for new projects going forward is I work better with smaller projects which are more focused on a high score sort of structure or like an arcade-esque, you can play this over and over again sort of structure. I don't do too well with point A to B, because of level design. I came into this project knowing that level design was one of my weaker spots, but I tried to plan around that while also challenging myself in level design. But honestly, it's kind of clear to me that level design will continue to be one of my weaker spots. Um, the artwork was okay for the game. I'm actually quite happy with how the pixel art turned out, and this was my first time trying to create and use tile sets. And honestly, I'm happy with how it came out. I think it's a good design. If I furthered development to make more stages, I would have started to change the theming of the stages, maybe go for like a lava world or like a stony mountain, because the original concept was to be that they climb vertically up stages, um, like Jump King, but I changed it into a sort of stage by stage structure instead. Um, Honestly, though, for my main aim next project, I would be going back to the arcade style, but I also want to challenge myself with finally attacking AI. I haven't created any AI and I haven't tested enemies before. I attempted to use hazards to create threats in this game, but I realized that I probably needed either better hazards slash more hazards, or I needed an enemy. Something to just keep the player on their toes. Um, but yeah, I think also the genre that I aimed at, it's a new genre for me. Platforming isn't. I've done platformers before. My last project was a platformer that was arcade styled and it came out really well. But this time I was focusing on more of like a rage game aesthetic, like kind of a game where it would be hard, there would be some cheap deaths, and the whole point was to remember them and to learn. I didn't add a lot of cheap deaths, I feel, and on top of that, the respawn system is extremely forgiving. But I'm honestly happy with how the respawn system came out. I think it's just that there maybe needs to be less respawns in the full version of the game. Um, or if there was more levels. I kind of kept it to how it is because these are the two levels. Um, I don't think my target audience would exactly enjoy my game. It's not hard as a rage game, it's honestly just more of a relaxing platformer, and I think there needs to be more content to draw in people. But uh, I'm happy with it as a baseline project, just to look at it and go, this is a good framework. This could go forward and become something even better if I had more time to put into it. But looking over everything that's been implemented and everything that's been created, I am going to look upon this project with a smile, and I'm going to take away that I'm okay with making sure that my mechanics are unique because I think the respawn mechanic came out the best in this project. However, I need to start focusing on creating smaller, more enjoyable, repeated experiences, as that seems to be my strong suit, which I learned from my last year uni project, Light in the Storm. But this is the end of my FreezeBurn development, so yeah, signing off.